Hi, so I haven't done a video in about 3 weeks and I wanted to go ahead and do an update. The first thing I wanted to mention is that my first appointment with my new psychiatrist will be next week, and I'll be doing a video about that afterwards and talk about how it goes. Um, like I mentioned before, I plan to just generally get their opinion. I assume they'll want me to try another long-term anxiety medication, but I also want to see what they think about trying a sedative because I think it would really help me to do some of the things that I have a really hard time just making myself do at all. If I had something I could use occasionally to just really calm me down. And yeah, I think it would help me make some progress with some stuff I'm trying to do. But anyway, I can't talk much more about that till that appointment actually happens, so that will be next week. And the other thing I wanted to mention today is that I finished the first draft of my book. Uh, got up this morning at about 5 o'clock and wrote for about 6 hours, and yeah, it's first draft is done. It's about 64,000 words, um, and yeah, I mean, I'm really proud that I finally finished something, and this is important to me. So I'm really glad I did that. Obviously, there's still plenty of work to do. I gotta edit it next up, and yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of edits I gotta do to make sure everything works. Tonally, I gotta just make sure it's consistent throughout with any attempts at humor or anything like that. And emotionally, obviously, I don't want it to be super dry. Like, this happened, I wasn't happy, and I also don't want it to be super on the other end of that, where it just sounds super self-pitying and it's just drenched, basically. So I don't think it's too bad for the most part. Honestly, but I'm gonna have to go through it and make sure I'm happy with everything in that regard. Um, and pacing and flow stuff. Got to make sure that the information is accurate to the best of my recollection, because I have not a particularly good memory. I think my anxiety has caused me memory issues. There was one point at which I was talking to my best friend while I was writing this, and I mean, he reminded me about some rather large events happening in our lives that I didn't even remember happened. I mean, I remembered them now, but I completely forgot about them. So stuff like that, I just want to make sure everything's right. I want to make sure that my analysis at least makes sense to me. Obviously, I can't be sure it will to anyone else, but Um, and structurally, it needs to make sense. I don't want to be super repetitive, so if there's stuff I need to cut, I'm sure there will be. Or if there's stuff that I just need to combine, just merge and shorten and condense some ideas. Make sure the chapters make sense, which they definitely don't right now. It's going to take a little bit of work to, you know, split everything up the right way. And just generally the order, and make sure it feels good to read, because it's got quite a bit of my own story and then my own analysis of that and how I think particular things did or didn't contribute to my personality disorder developing and all that. But then it's also got, just a bunch of descriptive information about what the personality disorder is, as far as the best that I can explain it, as well as my thoughts about how other people that aren't dealing with this or with any form of anxiety can have good interactions with people that do deal with stuff like this, both good for them and for the person that's anxious, um, with a whole different bunch of types of relationships, from someone randomly that you're talking to that's super anxious to somebody you care about a lot. And also basically what I'm planning to do next, and things I'm trying to improve myself, and things I'm going to try, and my plan, and just general advice to the best extent that I think I can give it to anyone else that's dealing with something like this. So the point of all that is to say that I want to make sure that it reads well and it doesn't get super boring, especially during the parts that are just about me. I think it's an important part to have to the book, which is why it's quite extensive, because I think it's important to understand where this stuff comes from, not only so that hopefully it doesn't happen to any other people, but or many other people, as many, you get the idea. But also just so that, I mean, to be able to understand something like this, you need to know where the stuff comes from and know that, some of it doesn't necessarily make sense to you, but this is why we feel that way, right? So that's what that part of the book is about, and I think it's important, but at the same time, I think it might drag, so kind of like I'm doing right now. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about as far as editing, and it's going to take more than one round, I'm sure, but got to do at least one round, see where I am then, and get happy with it. And then after that, whenever I am happy with it, got to try to find an agent, try to get it published traditionally, and if I can't, I will publish it online because I've written it. I'm not going to get rid of it now, but I would prefer to have it traditionally published just so that, I feel like that's an easier avenue for spreading information. It's a built-in marketing strategy, more or less, because I can't do that. I'm not, I can't sell a book on my own, and I don't want to. I just want to help people get this information, and that's kind of the whole point, is that I'm really hoping I can get it traditionally published so that, just to increase the amount of eyes on it, just so that more people can read it, because I think it's important. The last thing I wanted to say is that I would love if some people other than myself could beta read it, but unfortunately, I don't know much of anybody, for obvious reasons. So, if any of you are interested in potentially beta reading this book in a draft stage, not this draft stage, it will be at least after one round of my edits, but if you might be interested in that, then please contact me by email. I will put it in the description, but the address you can use is jakeavpd@gmail.com. And I totally understand that that's going to be a lot of work and time commitment and mental energy and all that. And I'm not expecting anyone to do it. And I feel really awkward even asking, but if any of you are interested in that, I would love some help. And unfortunately, I don't have any money, so I can't really pay you. So I totally get if anyone's not interested in that, and you do not need to feel weird about it. It's a ton of work, and it's my deal, and I'll get it done either way. But if you are interested, again, you can email me and let me know, and it won't be just yet that would be happening. It would be a little while. And of course, you're not committed to anything. If you change your mind, that's perfectly fine as well. Anyway, that's about all for now, and I will see you again next week with my video about my appointment, and after that, most likely I'll be slightly more regular in my uploads again, talking about some things that my book made me think about that I'd like to talk about. And it'll just be a little easier now that, I'm still going to be working on the book, working on editing, but I don't think it's going to take as much of my mental energy as it has to just write the book to do the editing, and so I'll feel more free to do videos without being like, oh geez, I don't want to think about AvPD anymore today. I pretty much always am anyway, but there's still different intensities of thinking about it. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's about it. I'll see you guys again next week. Thanks.